All right, guys, we are in studio for the one, the only, with the one, the only, Zara Larsson. Hello,
Hi.
Zara. Listen, the chat has been going nuts. Can I just read some of the comments already that are coming in? Lakes Hoax said, invented feminism. Quins 28 said, so hot. Demix Quadrant said, can't tame her. I love it. I love it.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, they're super excited. We're excited to have you here today. Let's start off because we were just watching the video and everybody in the room was just taken aback by how beautiful it was. So let's talk a little bit about the video, how it came together. You shot it in Prague, right?
Yeah, shot it in Prague. We did 2 videos at the same time, and it was stressful because we shot both of the videos like. We were not doing one day and then the other day. We were going back and forth between the videos a lot. Oops, sorry.
No, you're good.
To get the most out of it. And it was really fun because I feel like this whole upcoming project will make a lot of sense together and like tell a story. So it was with a director like duo called Global. And I like it because the song is very upbeat. It has a nice tempo. It's kind of fun. And then the video is quite dark. And it's a little mysterious.
It is.
And a little sexy.
Yes.
And kind of, in a way, calmer than the song itself. You know what I mean? So it was a very interesting contrast. But I feel like it told the story of what I wanted, which is really to have, regular me and then a wild side of myself. Like it could be an emotion or like a feeling that you want to merge in with and like embrace that part of yourself. Yeah. So the little more outgoing and like more carefree version, I think of her as that, like a little bit more unapologetic and just like doing whatever she wants. Like she's the one going out, no one can stop her. Because it is a song about somebody in third person, you know?
Yep.
It's like she's going out, she's wild, she's wearing this perfume, all of that stuff. But really, I definitely relate to it. So I guess it's about me. Yeah. But it's a fun way of telling a story.
Yeah. Why did you choose to go that route as far as like telling it in third person versus being like, I'm, you know what I mean? Versus she versus I'm.
I think when I wrote the song with MNEK, it's something that we've been doing before. It is a little bit more of telling a story. And I feel like it's, in a way, quite relatable because you don't really know who you are referring to. I'm singing the song in the way of the listener might feel like she's talking about me, Yeah. And it's different. Like, I've never released a song... Well, I have actually, Secrets on my first album, which was never released outside of Scandinavia. But, I think it's like an interesting way of telling a story. Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like, everyone can kind of see themselves in the lyrics.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. As far as shooting it, did it take really long because you're in so many shots and it's like you're holding hands with yourself and like how did you guys shoot that and pull that off?
It was definitely a lot more work than you would think it is because all the stuff that one version of me is doing, the other one has to do as well. Right. To get the shots to sync, So it was long days. We really did 3 shooting days in 2 days. And I'm the type of person, like if I'm at a shoot and we're going, like I'm like, we don't need to sleep. We don't need to eat. Like, let's just go, But I think it's so fun. Like, I really, really like to do music videos. I love to create. And then I really enjoy the editing part. I think that's like the most fun part. And I think it came together really well.
Were there any scenes that were cut out of all of this that like maybe didn't make the final video?
No. Okay. I mean, I think in the end, for me, I'm always like, oh, I wish we had more scenes. That is a rare, rare thing to have too many scenes and be like, cut that out. No, maybe for the next, if this is like a super smash hit and I get to record the video for my third single, and we have like an unlimited budget.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll tell you about that when we get there, if we have scenes to delete.
Yeah.
But now we're like, do we have any more scenes? Do we have any more scenes? That's usually what it's like. So no, everything's in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I love that. It's so beautifully done, well shot, everything.
Thank you.
So someone commented on this video on YouTube and they said, Zara knows how to reinvent herself every time. And I was wondering when I read that, I thought to myself, I wonder if that was her intention with this track and with this video, or if you were just trying to push boundaries, or if you were just doing you.
I think I'm just doing me. And looking back at what I've previously done, I think it is a quite, broad variety of pop music still, still pop, but there's some that are a bit more R&B leaning, like for my last album when I did Talk About Love with Young Thug, or So Good with Ty Dolla $ign, and then we obviously have the, EDM bangers, like with Alesso and David Guetta, or just a pop, like classic pop songs, Clean Bandit when we did that feature, or like even Lush Life. I think I love pop in its broadness and like what it is and what you can do with pop. So I don't feel like I am reinventing myself. Maybe I'm just, showing more layers to the type of music that I like, which is a lot of different types of music, and then but still keeping it pop.
Yeah.
And I love that I'm able to do that, or that pop is such a spectrum of stuff. So yeah, I think it's just an evolution of me as an artist, but still keeping it true to myself.
For sure.
And I think this like upcoming album will also be going a little bit more high and low on the ballads, and like they will be really, really sad. And then the up-tempo songs will be like Can't Tame Her, they have a pace, they have a strong beat, energetic. So it's like highs and lows, and I like that. That is my type of music. I've never felt like I have a true sense of like, this is my lane sonically and I'm only doing one thing. I like to go out and dip my toes in like different pools. Yeah.
No, totally. I feel like you've mastered like being such a versatile artist, and I think that is a big part of your it factor.
I like that. Yeah, I think it's fun. And I listen to a lot of different types of music. Like, I really, really do. So just being able to take inspiration from that, or if I'm doing a feature with another other artist, to be able to, like, take that in to whatever I'm doing. But Can't Tame Her, it's just such a fun record. And I love to start off the whole project with that song and start off the year with that song.
Yes.
Because it just has that, like, energy to it.
Totally. It's very like bold, confident, girl power.
That's the energy we want.
Yes, exactly. We need that. It's like, even if you don't feel that, this song will make you feel that.
100%. I feel so. Yeah.
Totally. Tell us a little bit about like the 80s inspired synths and just like how you landed on that sound.
I think that's what is like. We did that in the studio when we were when we started to write the song. Mother, the Carl and Kian, the guys who are the producers of the song, just kind of played the synth track to me and MNEK. Gotcha. And they were like, what do you guys think about this? So that's basically how the whole record started. And we said, yeah, let's go. Like, I like to start off my writing sessions with like, do a lot of different ideas. So especially if we have like a couple of days in together. So we might do 3 or 4 ideas the first day, and then we'll go back to the favorite ideas on the second or third day to finish the songs. So there was maybe like the third idea of the day, and we started writing the verse and the chorus, and usually that's when I move on to like the next idea. But it was just like, the second verse just kind of wrote itself, and then we were like we just didn't want to stop, and that's a really good sign. And then again, I don't feel like Can't Tame Her is not necessarily setting the like sonically the tone for the rest of the album. Okay, but it definitely has like the confidence and the energy for it. So yeah, it's a little like, she's a little fun one, you know? She's out there. And I think over the years, we've heard the 80s sound from a lot of pop artists, kind of bringing it back. So it's definitely like a recognizable sound that people have heard. And it's just a way of like getting my generation to dance to synths as well as my parents did, you know? I think also just with everything, creative music, fashion, it goes a little bit in cycles and we get inspired. I don't think anything in the world is really new. It's just a reinvention of something, or you get inspired by something. So yeah, I just thought it was such a fun song, and I didn't really think much deeper than that on it. Yeah.
You teased this song on social media before dropping it. Do you ever get nervous about that? Because, you know, with social media, like, you can get all kinds of opinions. And it's just like, sometimes you want to hear it, sometimes you don't.
Could you imagine, like, teasing it and people are like, boo.
Right, exactly.
Nightmare. I actually didn't follow, you know, my label. They were like, they had a whole plan and la 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 la, and then I just kind of posted half of the song on my Twitter with like super bad quality, just like me dancing in a corner doing a like rehearsal for the video or rehearsal for a performance, just to kind of see like it wasn't an official teaser, but I wanted to see like, what do you guys think?
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
a soft tease.
Yeah, it's very soft tease. Like it's very soft tease. Like, hello?
Right.
But it was positive, so that was nice. And I do think, you know, my fans, I mean, hopefully they'll be honest with me if they don't like something. But they were really excited. Yeah. And then it's just like to get the rest of the world on board and like to hear the song. Because it's easy to put out a song, but it's hard to get a lot of people to notice it.
Yeah.
But it being a good song helps, I think. But now it's just like, keep working it. Yeah.
For sure. I feel like the title "Canttameher" is like the perfect description when I think of you. You've always been very outspoken. You speak on the things that you care about and that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And I know in the past you've spoken about how your parents had a lot to do with that and you growing up to be confident enough to speak on these things. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm really thankful that my parents have. Now when I think back at like what I used to be like as a teenager and like as a kid, I'm very thankful for them letting me be a little bit argumentative and like not necessarily like talking back, but just question things, because it allowed me to question other things like in the world, you know? And we would have very interesting debates at the dinner table. And I think I am just that type of person who is curious, who wants to know how the world works and why it is the way it is and why it's like that and why. But it will lead you to a place of knowledge, I believe, and like understanding of things. And they've always encouraged that, I think. At least like standing up for myself. And maybe they didn't have a choice. Maybe that's just how I was when I was born. I think that might be it. Me and my sister were quite different from each other, even though we've raised in the same household with the same parents, had the same food. I think it's just also part of my personality. Yeah.
Your sister does music too, right?
She does.
Whose idea was it first to get into it? Was it kind of like both of you guys would sing throughout the house? Like, what was it like growing up together?
So like she's way more shy than I am, and she's such a perfectionist. So even like performing for our parents after every dinner, which always happened.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, was that you guys' idea?
Yeah, it was just showtime.
I love that.
After every dinner, it was just showtime.
That's
just
so cute.
Yeah, that's just
I
what it
gotta
was.
see like childhood videos, because I know the childhood videos are just
we
popping.
have some 100%. So we just had a space in front of the dinner table, and we couldn't put anything there because that was like the stage. And she would like, oh, let me start over. Like, I always write, like, let me start over. And I'll be like, move! It's my turn. Like, you took up too much time. Like, you know? So she's a lot more shy and, like, you know, she wants it to be right. Well, I'm more like, let me entertain, you know? I'm like the clown, I guess, of the family. And I think I've always been so vocal about wanting to do music and wanting to like be on stage and perform and like all of that. Like I want the show, the glitter, the glad, like look at me, look at me, look at me, like all the time. So I think she's always loved music, but maybe she felt like that was my thing and not really her thing until she reached like teenage 15, like 14, 15, 16. And she felt like, I also really like music and I also really like to perform. And she's been dancing and singing her whole life too. I feel like she has just been in the shadow of my like extraness in the family. You know what I mean? And that doesn't necessarily mean that she's any way like less talented. She's just different, you know, and not everyone's the same. So I think she had to build up her confidence to be like, no, I actually want to do this. And I don't want to do this because my sister's doing it. But I think it was like an opposite effect that she might have felt even more shy about saying it out loud that she wants to do music because I've always said I've been wanting to do music. You know what I mean?
Are you the older sister?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I get that.
Yeah. So, and now she found like her own voice. She got her own songs, and they sound completely different from the things that I do. And we're kind of jealous of each other in
That's so cute.
like a healthy way. You know, we talk about it, and she thinks it's amazing that I get these like big opportunities, and you know, I'm signed to like a major label, and I get like a big budget for things and videos, and I'm kind of jealous that she has had all this time to figure out exactly what she wants to do without having the pressure of like releasing stuff or having to be on a schedule or not being sure of what I want to do 100%, but still having to put something, you know what I mean? So I think there's pros and cons to everything, and at the end of the day, the end goal is the same. It's just different ways of getting there, I guess. But yeah, she's amazing, and her group with her friends called Lennox, and they're releasing an album in March.
Love that. You're such a sweet sister. She's like, free plug there. Love that. Love that. I have a question about your confidence. I love how confident you are. I love that you are a very sexy woman. You stand in that. You're unafraid to show that. And to be vocal about it. Where does that come from? Like on difficult days, where do you find that confidence? Do you have like a vision board? Do you have like sticky notes in your bathroom or something?
I've been wanting to do that. I said that for this new year, you know, 2023. Let me do a little vision board.
It's so much pressure. I still haven't done it. I still have not done it. It's already February.
It just sounds so good though to do that and just have it, you know, hanging wherever you see it. But no, I think I'm also really like torn because I think I'm just a very sexual person, like not necessarily trying to be like sexy, but I like to talk about just the naturalness of like being a human being. And I'm always, I grew up in a very like naked family, if you know what I mean. Like I think it's also might be like a Swedish thing, and like my mom, I would be so embarrassed sometimes. Like she would just come in and she would only wear like a pair of panties because she worked nights. So she would go to sleep and she would be like not wearing clothes. And then if I had friends over and we were too loud because she was sleeping, she was going to work, she would come in and she would like, shut the fuck up. Like just titties out, you know?
That's
and I was
hilarious.
like, Mom, you can't do that. But just like the body inherently isn't sexual. Like I don't think it is. And it's the context you put the body in that is like a sexual thing. But I do think it's really fun to just embrace like your sexiness and what it is like. But then I'm always torn, like, do I want to do this, or is the society that expects me to be like this hot young woman, and I put a lot of value on that, on myself, and how will I feel when I am 50 or 60 and society's no longer treating me like a sexy young lady? Like how much of my, I don't know, like self, like how I present myself is tied to the way I look or the way that people find me hot. And I think that's very normal for like a lot of young people, but I guess you just have to like enjoy it while it lasts, maybe.
And I feel like you really just owned it. Like when I see you, I don't see like, oh, she's pressured to do this. I just see it as like, no, she's a bad bitch. And like
and that's how I feel. Like I really do feel like that. And I don't really think too much about it. I think I possibly like tone it down a lot on my social medias. Like my close friends, they see a lot. My close friends, they see a lot.
That is too funny. But I feel like you also use it for good too. I know that you had like a infamous post of like a condom on your like foot.
I think we should speak more about, because also I think we should speak more about like sex in general and like women and how we experience sex, and that we're not only for like giving and like looking good. Like we deserve to like get and gain and I don't know. There's just so much to be said about that, and I want girls to feel confident and happy about themselves. And you are very much allowed to feel sexy, but just like sometimes I wonder, like I want to do this for my own self and like on my own terms.
For sure.
And I feel confident doing so right now. Yeah.
I love that. I love that for you. That's incredibly inspiring. I think anybody who watches that and watches you is inspired by that. So
thanks.
So I want to know a little bit about just like, I know that you started your own label. I want to know a little bit about that and just another bold move, like just being able to acquire the ownership of your music, which a lot of artists have a hard time doing. And I think that's just huge. I love that you were able to do that.
I love that.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
No, it's incredible. It's such an opportunity that you say, like, not a lot of artists get to do that. And I feel so incredibly lucky that I own my work and like that I own the songs that I identify myself with and the people I identify myself with that I didn't write. Like I didn't start out writing my songs. So for example, like Lush Life, I never wrote, but it's such a huge part of who I am as an artist. And it feels good to know that in like 10 years, you know, Drake can't come and sample it like without my approval. I would love for you to sample it, Drake, if you see this, because now I own it. But it's just, you know, it's like a retirement fund. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it's like for my kids and like stuff like that. And it just feels really good and it feels like a boss move. And I'm incredibly thankful for Ola Håkansson, who owns 10 Records, who wanted to sell it to me because he did so very generously. Because he could have sold it to an investment capitalist like company and probably gotten a lot more for it, but he just wanted to be nice, and I think it speaks a lot about his character. That he wants to go out and not be like I think it's just a good move because he's a good person. And sometimes, because the music industry is an industry, people don't think about that. They don't think about like the people in it. They think about like the numbers and the money in that. But just the fact that I have that now, and I'm still signed to Epic, to a label, but I own like the majority and the bigger part of all of it. So it's like now I also feel like I have a different relationship with Epic because I now am like the owner of like what I do, you know, so I can like have other demands that I maybe wouldn't be able to have
wear
before
more
that.
than one hat. That's incredible. That's huge. I have a random question about, so you know how some artists will be like, I don't consider myself a role model. People just see me as such, and like that's their problem kind of thing. As someone who is like super vocal, do you see yourself as a role model? Do you see yourself as an activist at your core? Like, what does Zara see Zara as?
No, I don't see myself as an activist. I don't feel like I can take on that role because people really do that. Like people really are activists, and I wouldn't call myself that. It would be like to water down what it is. I think I am just a girl with a lot of opinions, and I think if you have a huge following, like let's say over like 500,000, you will influence some people, whether you like it or not. So I think just by having that, you have some sort of responsibility, but then it's like, what do you consider a good role model? Is it to like not swear? Is it to be like, be very modest? Is it to make sure the kids go to school? Is it like, there's so many different ways of being like a good role model.
Right.
But I would say that, I mean, I obviously think my opinions are the right ones. So if anyone could be influenced by just being like wanting to do whatever you like. I love Rihanna. I think she's great because I feel like she's true to herself. She does whatever she wants. She's unapologetic, you know? Sure. And that in itself is really strong and powerful. And even Nicki, you know, she like talking about like going to school. She really encourages her fans and like her young followers to like get that degree. She paid for like tons of people's college educations. I think like Beyonce obviously is like incredible, and there's so many different ways of being a role model. But I don't know. I think I'm a good person. Like I have a good heart and I have good intentions. I'm not perfect. I don't think anyone is. But if you get inspired by me, then I hope it's like a good thing. You know. Yeah. I don't try to put too much pressure on myself with that either. But I think everybody who has some sort of following are influencing people. Like at least one person. And if you could do that in a good way, then amazing, you know?
I feel like you answered my next question already. I was going to ask you if there were any like female leaders or artists who really inspire you. But I think I want to change the question to like, was there ever a moment in childhood that you can recall where your mom inspired you in some sort of way? Because I kind of feel like we got to give the moms some credit, right? We got to give
the moms some credit.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think no, because I think I realized what my mom, like what she has done for me and how incredible she is when I, you know, moved out and like when I grew up a little bit. Because we had, I was a really, really bad teenager and I was really probably hard to like live with. And
I can relate.
Yeah,
I can definitely relate.
And she's always been so supportive of me. She has spent a lot of time away from like my sister and my dad because she's always been with me, like on the road. Because I started so young, she would never let me go anywhere like by myself. Even though I had grown-ups around me, I was like, I don't know you guys well enough.
Right,
like, you know,
Yep.
She would always be with me, and she would sacrifice just a lot in her life. Also, with I think coming back to like being like a woman and having to have that pressure of like being the matriarch of the family, which I do think a lot of moms are, and sacrificing her like kind of career in a way so that my dad could work, and maybe some stuff that you know, I look back at now and I'm like, you deserve like everything. And I don't want that to be, she doesn't see it that way, I know. But like, I know that she put in so much of her time and love and energy for me. And that's not why she's amazing, because she's like sacrificed all of that, but because she's so, I don't know, she's very loving and she's very funny, and she's such a character. She really is. I wish she was here today. It was her birthday yesterday, actually. So she just flew out.
Birthday.
Yeah, she flew out today. Yeah, I think she's a strong-minded, like incredible woman. So it really landed. Yeah, I think when I moved out and like we got a different sort of relationship. But it's better late than never.
Exactly. You know, it's
and now we're really close.
Yeah. It always ends up happening eventually.
Yeah.
That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I always think of the question when people ask people like, what would you tell your younger self? But I wonder in your case, as someone who came up so young in the industry, is there anything you learned when you were super young that you've always taken with you throughout your career?
Maybe I just go on and on and on and on and on. And like, because I've been doing this for such a long time, sometimes it just feels like such a natural part of my life, like what I do. I can't really see myself do anything else. And then I think, like, what if I would wake up one day and not feel like I want to do this? And I always say this, but I feel like I feel so happy, like, doing what I do and performing. And if there's one thing I can say to myself, it would just be like, I don't know, honestly. I honestly don't know. I think I've been doing pretty great so far, and like, just keep believing in yourself. You know what I would say though, that I realized kind of this year, strangely enough, like turning 25, they say your brain is fully developed at 25. Yeah. So I realized that I've been so shy at like promoting myself, and I feel like it's a little embarrassing to like when I released a song, I will post like maybe one picture on Instagram and be like, my song's out. That's it.
No, you gotta be shameless. Yeah, and you're so talented.
And that's what I find out. Like, why are you ashamed? Like, you should be your #1 biggest fan. Yeah. Like, if you are, and hello, come on. And I've always loved everything I do, but I think it's like a way of, I was doing that maybe to like protect myself, because let's say like nobody likes my song, then I'll be like, oh, that's fine. Like, I don't really like it either. Like, or whatever, you know. But now I'm like, no, I will be out here and I will promote myself, and I will put the work in, and I will post the TikToks, and I will post the links, and I will post the stories, and just really like get myself out there even more. Yeah. Because if I'm not doing it, then who's gonna get inspired to like do it with me? Right. So I would tell myself to just like promote yourself harder, and like show the world that like you are your biggest fan, because I always thought I was talented and like had really good songs. I was just a little shy when it came to like promoting myself. I don't know. So maybe that, because I've always loved what I've been doing. Yeah.
I think that's a word that we can all like be better at.
Yeah, be better internalize.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into this little game. Yeah. It's 8 Untamed moments from Zara's life. And we just want you to tell us the story behind each of these photos.
Okay, great.
All right. So the first one is,
there we go.
This one. And this one I loved because you were obviously on stage. I want to just kind of hear a little bit about like how you prepare your shows for your fans, because I think they expect big and fun and all of that.
Yeah, no, my shows, I've been with my band for so long, so we kind of know each other in and out. So like the rehearsals are always very seamless and smooth. And then preparing for the actual show is kind of non-existent. They're like, put your clothes on like 5 minutes before the show. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I remember this day was so hot. We were in Italy, and this is me opening up for Ed Sheeran. I was with him on tour in 2019, and I had to put my hair up, and I decided to do it in 2 little pigtails.
So cute.
And it was just a really, really fun show, but it was hot. It was really, really hot. Yeah, I just always have the best time. And I really would have a great time, even if there was like a rock in front of me. You know, if there was, I love a good crowd, but even if there's no crowd, I just love to perform with my band. And like, you know what? No, I do like a crowd. Please show up to my shows.
Like, on second thought.
Yeah. I do like a good crowd for sure. But I'm just saying, like, I'm having the best time. Yeah, and you can kind of see that in this photo. It's cute.
You can tell. I feel like with your live performances, you absolutely can always tell. Yeah. All right, next up is, okay, Ian, can you help me out here? It's my clicker.
There we go.
This one, which I saw the caption for it, and I was just so impressed. Tell us more about this.
I think I was just so bored during COVID or something, and I've been wanting to take, so I didn't finish high school.
All good. Yeah, you knew what you wanted to do.
I know, but it's something that's like, it hasn't really been bothering me, but I know I obviously if I wanted to, I could. But instead, this is kind of me making up for it in a way. But I would have a lot more use, I think, for this. Or it would just be a lot more exciting, because there's a lot of studying that needs to be done with this. And you need to know every little screw on that thing. And you know, with the helicopter, you have to start out. Well, you don't have to start out, but I would like to start out with the smaller frame, which is the R22. In this one, it's only for 2 people. And then once I get the license for that, I can upgrade maybe to the R44, and then like move on to that and bigger helicopters. But it's just like seems really, really fun and cool, and I love flying. I've been doing it now a few times, and I have a long way to go still. But it's really exciting, and I think I'm just an adrenaline junkie. Yeah, and are always looking for so like fearless. Yeah, yep. I'm really not scared of anything, and I think that is. I just hope I'll stay alive for a really long time. Yeah, I'll just find myself like doing some wild stuff after I've done this. I'm like, let's move on. What's more dangerous? Yep. You know, I'm that type of person. But so far, I feel really safe, and it's fun. Yeah.
I love that. Love that. And you're pursuing other passions too, which I think is so important.
I think so too. I think everybody needs like a hobby. Because, you know, I'm not doing this to like do private flights over like Las Vegas or anything. Right. I'm just doing it for myself. Right. And maybe take up a friend or two if I'm feeling crazy like that. But it's definitely like a hobby, and I think everyone should have. Maybe pottery, like whatever it is. Yeah. Just something different than what you normally do in your like work life. For sure. Yeah.
All right, next up is Ian. Can you help? Because it's gonna go the wrong way. Ooh. This one, I was just like, I love this. What is the story behind this? Like,
this is a typical picture that my friend Nora would just force me to do, and he'll be like, "Get up on that car." We were just in CVS. It's his first time in LA, and I think we stayed in that CVS for like 3 hours. It's interesting because we don't really have stores like that where you have like a pharmacy and food and like makeup all in one store in Sweden. So he thought it was really funny. And then it was Halloween. It was during Halloween times, and we just took a little wolf mask, and he said, "Get on top of the car." He always takes the most fun pictures of me. Yeah, he's a real good capture the moment type of person. And I feel like I need to teach my boyfriend some of that, because I don't want to be like, take a picture of me, take a picture. It just has to be like, right. Oh, I'm just happen to be here.
You need Photon Bay. Yep, he's just on it. Yeah. Let's do one more. The next one is this one. Yeah. New Year's Day, I'm thinking?
New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just, you know, I was at a party, and it was really fun because I feel like normally New Year's is a very non-party day. Like you expect so much because it's New Year's, but you never really end up on like a huge party. And this time we really did. Like my friend was turning 27, and she had like 300 people over. Yeah, and it was just like a huge, big party, and it was some cake there, and I just had a little taste.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You're so fun, free, liberated. We love to see it, and so talented.
Thank you.
As we all know, and as we'll be able to see in just a few minutes. So we'll let you go. Okay. And chat, stick around because she is about to do a live performance in minutes.
Let's go.
Thank you, Zara.